Sandra here, and today we are going to talk about sampling. So I'm going to run you through everything from making your sample to mailing your sample and all the steps in between. So we're just going to get started and we're going to dive right in. This video might be a little bit long, but hey, learning how to sample properly takes a little bit of time. So the first thing we are going to talk about is actually making your samples yourself from your full-size products, okay? So the first thing you're going to need is some containers, some kind of way to hold your samples. So I have these trusty little Lacan containers. These are 1/20th of an ounce. Whoa, dropping stuff. These are 1/20th of an ounce, and the link to these will be posted in the comments. Another option that you can have for sampling are these little Mylar heat seal bags. So these guys are these little like foil pouches, and you can squeeze the product directly in from your full-size container. If you are going to be using any products like body butters or scrubs or any of the things that you have to like put your hands into, you want to make sure that you use like a plastic spoon or a craft stick, something like that. You don't want to put your hands in the actual product because you're going to be sampling this to a lot of people, and you don't want to put your germs in there and send everybody, you know, stuff that's been touched and fingered all over. So you can use a spoon or a craft stick for the things that are a little harder to squeeze into these guys. I personally just use these little Lacan containers if I'm going to be making my own samples. So let's get started, and we will make a couple samples. I'm going to show you a couple different things so that you know how much you're putting in. When you are sending a sample, you want to give them enough to actually be able to use the product, but you're not really trying to send them a week's supply, right? You want them to try it and love it and then go to your website. So I'm going to take this, we're just going to squeeze it straight in from the bottle. This is a body butter, so you're going to want to put a little bit more in here than what you typically would for a hand cream. So I just give it a little tap on the table to kind of balance it all out, get it all even in the container. And then I drop it in the floor, you know, typical day in the life. Okay, so you're going to get it closed, nice and closed. So then the next thing you're going to want to do is clean all your yummy lotion off because you don't want to waste it, right? So the next thing you're going to want to do is label it. So you want to tell people what is in there. So we made a sample of Honey Healing Body Cream. So there's a couple different ways that you can label these guys. You can get super fancy and print your own labels from Avery. We have some groups that support graphics and sticker making within Perfectly Posh. And in the files, they will have the actual stickers so that you can print them off, or you can buy them from our portal, or you can do like I do, and you can just write them out. Okay, so I have them, here they are. Okay, so in our consultant portal, we have these stickers that say a sample of, and they have the little Posh logo, and they're blank here, so then you can write on what it is. So you're going to write Honey Body Cream, and you're going to stick it onto the top of your container like this, and then it'll say a sample of Honey. But if you don't have any perks, or you don't have a lot of extra money because you just started your business and you need to be putting your money into better things, you can get these guys, these Avery color labels. You can get these anywhere. I got these from Walmart. They were less than $3. You get 315 stickers in this type of container, and they will fit right on top of the little Lacan, so you can just write what the product is, stick it on there, and you're ready to go. Now, myself, because I already have some stickers that have my information on them, I would take one of these stickers and I would stick it on the bottom of the container so that they know that this sample came from me, and if they want to order more, then they just go to the information on the back and then they can order a full-size product of this, okay? So that is making a body butter. So I'm just going to show you real quick how much you would need to use for a hand cream, a mask, and a face wash, and then we'll just move along, okay? So we got our Posh Boss. This one's my It's my favorite. I love this one. So again, this is just a sample. A little bit goes a long way. So in my hand cream samples, I try to send enough for them to use it twice. Okay? So you're going to squeeze in about this much, and then I like to kind of tap it on the table. Tapping it on the table allows it to kind of spread out a little bit. Makes the sample look bigger too. Okay? So same thing. You're going to squeeze it closed. You're going to write on the label of your choice, or if you print labels, then you're going to get your label out and you're going to stick it on there. So you're going to take it, you're going to write on here Posh Boss. You're going to stick it onto the top of your container like this. And there you go. You have a hand cream. Up next, we're going to do a face wash. So with our face wash, they say that you use a fat pea to wash your face, and that's all that you're going to need. So again, I try to include enough for them to use it twice. Okay? So again, you're going to squeeze it in, give it a little tap, close her up, give her a label, on her way. Next up, and the last one I'm going to show you, is supposed to be a face mask. Oh, I already brought it over here. More prepared than I thought I was. Okay, so same thing. You're going to open this guy up. Now for the face mask, you just want to send them enough for one use. So we say that you should use about a nickel amount for your face mask. So about this much. Okay, it's not a whole lot. Tap it out. Close it up. And then you're going to give it a label. Okay, so now you have made several samples. So you know how to use the Laycons and you know how to use the Mylars, and now we are going to talk about chunk bars. So chunks are a great thing for us to sample to send our customers because bar soap has such a bad reputation, and Perfectly Posh is doing the best that they can to show people that bar soaps can be amazing. I love our bar soaps. I was totally a body wash girl. I never wanted to use a bar soap, and then I met Posh, and now I'm addicted. This is actually my favorite. I pulled this out of my stash. No one gets to have this. It's lemony deliciousness. It smells so good. Okay, so you're going to want to send samples of these, and you can't always go to the post office and pay the shipping that you're going to need to pay to send a portal-sized chunk sample from our Posh portal. So you can totally make your own, and then you can mail these in the fashion that I'm going to show you how to mail here in just a few minutes. Okay, so you want to take this guy out of the wrapper. You're going to put it on a microwave-safe plate like this. You're going to stick it in your microwave for 10 seconds. Then you're going to flip it over. You're going to put it in for another 10 seconds, and at this point you want to feel it. You want it to be warm, but you don't want it to be melty. So I typically will stand it up and do 5 more seconds. It really just depends on the wattage of your microwave. Watch your chunks closely because you don't want to melt them. Okay, you're going to want this guy soft enough that you can slice through it without it crumbling. Okay, you can use a super sharp knife, or you can use a soap cutter. I got this one from Michael's. You can always find a 40% off code or 20% off code at Michael's. You can pull it up on your phone. You can use it right there in the store. No need to print it out. So if you want to get a soap cutter, you can totally get one from a craft supply store. I got mine from Michael's. Or you can just use what you have and use a knife, okay? So that's how you're going to cut a chunk. And then these are the sizes that you are going to want to cut your chunks because you are going to be mailing these in a standard envelope. So just want to show you something. These are like a butter plat. This is from the Ripple cutter, so they do make them look a little cuter. They look just fine when they are cut with a standard knife. Okay, so this guy, as you can see, do you see how it is actually a little bit, let's see if we can get in here. Okay, it's actually a little bit thinner than the Laycon because when you're going to mail in the order that I'm going to show you, you have to keep everything super thin. It can't be over 1/4 of an inch. So you got your chunk soap. This is totally enough for an entire shower, or you could send this part as a part like a mini manicure or something like that and just send it for the hand washing step. So I actually think that these soap bags that I have are probably going to be too small, but we're going a shot. So I got these from the jewelry section at Walmart. I get everything from Walmart. If you have a question where I got something, probably from Walmart. Okay, so you're going to open these guys up, and if you got the right size bags, yay, I did. They're going to fit. Okay, so you're going to slide them in there. You're going to zip it up, and then again, same thing. You're going to give this guy a label. You're going to tell them that this is actually I think this is milk in it. You're going to tell them that this is an easy peasy chunk sample. You're going to stick your little Avery label or your personally made label, whatever you're going to do, you're going to stick a label on it because you want to label everything. You want them to know what they're getting. Okay, so you got your chunk sample ready to go. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our Snarky bars. So these guys are super soft. They don't require any kind of a heat source for you to be able to cut them. The shea butter in them allows the knife to just slide right through, so do not heat up your Snarky bars. Just get a super sharp knife or use your soap cutter, and you want to cut them in the same way that you cut this guy right here. Okay, and then you can send samples of our amazing Snarky bars for scrubbing up. I personally love Snarky bars. Okay, next up we are going to talk about how to send these guys in the mail. Okay, so you can totally 100% send your stuff out, and you can send it with a catalog, and you can send it with several samples. You can send tons of information, but the thing with that is that sampling in that manner gets a little expensive. Okay, so typically it's like $3 to $4 to mail out a packet with a catalog and samples and, you know, joint information, your personal information, and a handwritten note. So what I have done since I started Posh, I have been with Posh for 2 years in May 2018, and I have always mailed my samples this way. So I started out with Laycons and homemade chunk samples, and I have moved up to using more of our portal samples that we can get from the Posh portal. These are pre-packaged samples. You're going to get some of these in your starter kit, and you have access to buy more through the Posh portal. So I have always mailed this way. It's super cheap. I haven't had any issues. I haven't had anything come back, and my customers are getting all their product in one piece. Nothing's busted open, and everything's working out great. Okay, so we're going to move along, and I'm going to show you all how to package everything up. So again, I got a little bag here that I got from Walmart. Shocker. Okay, so you are going to take this. This is for when you are mailing these little Lacan sample containers, okay? Because they have a tendency to like shift around and get crazy, and you want to keep everything thin, remember, less than 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to show you how I do that. You always want to send information about how to contact you. So if you have it on the back of your little containers, and you're also going to want to send some kind of a business card, some kind of information to your customer or your potential hostess or potential teammate. You always want them to have some way to get a hold of you. Okay, so we're going to open this bag. We're going to put in our business card, and then these guys will just stack up in this bag. Okay, so they're going to stack nicely. Going to stick your other one over there. Put in your chunk sample. Alright, so everything is in here, nice and good to go. It's a cute little packet. It's ready to go to your customer. So, I'm going to give you some tricks about how you're going to send this, okay? So, side note, before we get into mailing, you've got this amazing sample packet ready, and you're going to send this to your new customer, and we'll say her name is Shelly. You're going to get your handy little notebook that every Posh consultant needs to have. You're going to get your handy notebook, and you're going to open this guy up, and you're going to write down Shelly's name, and then you are going to write down every sample that you sent her in this hostess packet, so that when you follow up, which you're going to have to do, you always have to ask people if they got their samples and how they're liking them, but when you follow up, you want to be able to say, hey Shelly, did you like that Stay Gold Fast face mask sample that I sent you? You don't want to just be like, hey girl, Did you like your samples? You want it to be like you're invested and you really care, because hello, we do. We care. We want to know. We want to know if they like their face mask sample. But you want to be able to be specific. And also, I've ran into times when people were like, oh yeah, I liked the green one you sent. It was great. The green one? Did I send you something green? So then you can go back to your list and you can say, oh, okay, the green one. I sent her that Do the Conga hand cream. It's in a green package. So then you know what they're talking about, and you don't look crazy like you don't know your product. So write it down, keep track of it. It's great for follow-up, and it also helps you to recommend new products. If they're like, oh, well, I didn't really like that peppermint face wash, then you can say, okay, I sent her BFF, so I'm going to recommend her Bright Young Thing. Okay? So it really, really helps with your business, and it helps you to keep track of follow-up. There is actually a video posted on follow-up. If you want to go check that out when you're done here, you'll see why keeping track is so important. Okay. Side note. Moving along. So, I get these invitation size envelopes. I get the Brights. They have them in a pastel. They are super pretty. As you can see, I'm about out. Again, if you need to know, Walmart. These come from the stationery section. Okay, so what I always include in a sample pack is I'm going to send samples, of course, and then I'm going to include some kind of information about our starter kit. So this is an old copy of starter kit information, but I'm totally going to send some kind of information about a starter kit. So I'm going to take this, okay, and you're just going to fold it in half. And then you are going to fold it in half again. Okay? So, you've got your samples, you've got your joint information. Then you want to let them know a little bit about the different products that we have. So in our portal, we have these amazing pricing at a glance sheets. You can purchase these from Posh, or if you have a printer at home, you can totally print these off at home. They are two-sided. I have a printer that prints both sides. If you don't have a printer that prints both sides, it's probably going to be cheaper for you in the long run to get some of these from the portal, and I totally recommend that if you're buying things from the portal, to spend your perks on portal items. Okay. So you're going to get one of these guys out. I'm going to go in here in the back where it has our perfectlyposh.com, and then you're going to want to stick your Contact Me sticker on top of it, or if you don't have the Contact Me stickers, I will take a black marker and I'll just mark through the perfectlyposh.com, and they give you quite a bit of room right here to where you can write your telephone number, your shopping link, and your email if you wanted to right here. You just want to make sure that this has your information on it, because you want them to be using your replicated website when they go to check out the products or to place an order from the samples that you sent them. So again, we're going to fold this guy in half. We are going to fold it in half again. Okay, so you have this one and you have this one, and we're going to make a sample sandwich. I know, I think I'm funny, but I'm really not. Okay, so we're going to make a sample sandwich. You're going to put your samples in the middle. Boom. You're going to put this guy here. Then you are going to stick them in your envelope like so. And then you're going to glue it down. Now take a look at this. Do we see that this is thin? Oh, this is making it hard for you to see. Okay, so see that this is really thin. You cannot have this any thicker than what those Lacan containers that you have inside. It cannot be any thicker than those. Yes, you're putting a folded piece of paper on the top and the folded piece of paper on the bottom, but if you're going to start sticking stuff like cardstock in here or super heavy thick paper, then you're going to push yourself over the limit from the USPS. So these are post office rules. They're not Cassandra rules. They're post office rules. So if it's over 1/4 of an inch, it's not going to be able to go through the machine. It's not going to be something that they're going to consider a hand sortable item. They're going to consider it a parcel, and one of two things are going to happen. This is either going to come back to you in the mail, and they're going to tell you that you need to pay additional postage, and then your sample customer, your hostess, whoever, never even got our stuff because it comes back to you, or nightmare. These guys will arrive cash on delivery to your customers, and they will try to charge your customers for the difference. So keep it thin, keep it light. You're going to send this guy for under 2 ounces. Everything that I just showed you right now, 100% weighs under 2 ounces. I have weighed this. I've been doing this for like 2 years, so I've kind of got this down to a science. So you've got this guy here, and then you are going to need postage. Okay, so we're going to have a little talk right now about the post office. USPS sells a stamp for 71 cents that is a non-machinable stamp. It has a Eastern blue butterfly or something on it, okay? It's a little butterfly stamp. It's going to be in the over 50 cents stamp section on UPS.com. Okay, so that is supposed to be a stamp to where you can send things like this that you don't want ran through the machine, and they're supposed to uphold that and not put your stuff through the machine. Well, let's just say they're going to put your stuff through the machine regardless. Not everyone at the post office is paying attention to the type of postage that you have on here, and sometimes even if you stamp it non-machinable or hand sort only, it's still going to go through the machine. Okay, so I like stamps, and I like to be able to have a variety of different kinds of stamps, so I just do mine this way. Okay, so I'm going to take my trusty little Star Trek stamps here. So you're going to need one of these, and then you are going to need one of these. So this is a 21 cents extra ounce stamp. So what this stamp does is it helps to pay for the extra weight of your sample pack, because you can send up to 1 ounce for a single stamp, but when you're sending your sample pack, it's a little heavier, so you need this extra ounce guy. So you're just going to stick them both on the top of the envelope. You're going to address it here. You're going to address it to your customer, and then the magic is you can stick this right in your mailbox. You don't even have to go to the post office. I hate having to go to the post office. You're super busy in your lives. You don't always have time to run to the post office, so you literally can just stick this in your mailbox, flip the flag up, and your samples are going out the door. So before we close, I'm going to show you quickly how to mail in the same super cheap manner using portal samples. So I personally use a lot of portal samples. Maybe I'm a little lazy. I like the appearance of the portal samples. They're very professional. They have all the ingredients and directions and things like that on the back. So I really enjoy these portal samples, and that's what I use. If we get new products, I totally will bust out my handy dandy Laycons, because just because you don't have it in a portal sample doesn't mean you can't still get it out the door if you have it in a full size. So let's talk about that really quick, and then I'm going to let you go. Okay, so I have my samples over here. I have everything organized by like face wash, lotion, those kinds of things. Okay, so we're going to get a Moisturized 911 sample. We're going to get a face wash sample. We will get a face mask sample, and then a Big Fat Yummy hand cream. So when I send samples, I typically try to send a 3-step facial. So this is what would be considered a 3-step facial. So this is going to be a face wash, a face mask, and then some type of moisturizer. So this is your 3-step facial. I always try to send a hand cream, because I feel like, man, I mean, come on. Posh Big Fat Yummy hand creams are amazing. Everyone needs one. Everybody should have a chance to try one in their life. So these are always going in my sample packs. And then I try to switch it up. I send one item that is maybe a little different. So I'll send a body polish, or I will send one of our Goodnight Kisses overnight masks, or you can send a trusty little body butter. Okay, so we have Hard Day's Night. So some people will say you need to send 6 samples because of buy 5 get 1 free. I typically send anywhere between 3 and 5 samples. I don't send 6 samples because they don't fit in the envelope. That's just the long and short of it. If I'm going to send a hostess packet, I'll load her up with samples, but when I'm mailing this way, they just don't fit in the envelope. Okay, so let's talk about how we do these portal samples. So, tape is going to be your best friend. I love tape. I go through tons of tape. Okay, so you're going to take this, and I use a different style of business card. I actually use a business postcard. Okay? So, bing. This has got all my information. The good thing about these is they are blank on the back because, like I forgot to tell you about this guy over here, when you're sending a sample pack, you want to send a handwritten note to your customer, thanking them for trying samples, asking them to give you feedback, and then maybe giving them a little bit of instructions. It doesn't have to be crazy detailed. Like literally for this one, I will write mini facial, step 1 wash, step 2 mask, step 3 moisturize, step 4 enjoy. Okay? Doesn't have to be crazy details, but you definitely want to include some kind of a note. So if you're mailing over here with the Laycons using the standard size business card, you can totally just take a piece of notebook paper, get you some cute stationery. The Dollar Tree always has cute little like pineapple shaped like notes and stuff. You can get something like that, write them a handwritten note. Thank you, Shelly, for trying your samples. I can't wait to hear what you think. Have some fun pampering yourself today. You deserve it. Love, Cassandra. Okay? So, put that in there. You're going to do the same thing on here. You're going to write them a little note. Okay? And then, let me get all this stuff out here. So, this is how I do this. So, I will line this card up with the back of the sample envelope. With the back of the envelope. And then, I'm going to start stacking my samples across. Okay? So, I typically try to put them in the order that they're going to be used. Okay, so you're going to take your Bright Young Thing. Okay, this is lined up, see, with the corner. You don't want to exceed the margins of your envelope or it's not going to fit. Okay, so then I'm going to do my face mask, and then I'm going to take them, and you don't want to overlap them a whole lot, but you can overlap them just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to take a small piece of tape. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, okay? You don't want this to be like a roll of tape exploded when it arrives to your customer. You still want it to look nice, but you want it to stay where it's supposed to be. Okay, so the reason for the tape is, again, the same thing like the reason for the bag with the Laycon sampling method. You don't want these guys to roll up under each other, okay? You want them to stay super flat, and you want everything to stay flat so the samples can run under each other like this, and that's going to make your envelope too thick, or when they ignore your postage and machine your samples, they're going to pop, okay? So you want to make sure that you tape them down so they don't go anywhere. So now I've got my big fat yummy hand cream. I'm going to lay this guy on here, and we are going to get us another little piece of tape. We're going to tape them on. Okay, so this is what this looks like. So you have this, like, sample pillow. I don't know what you call it. Okay, so it's going to, again, line up with your envelope. It doesn't exceed the margins of my envelope, so it's going to fit when I go to put everything in. So again, we're going to make a sample sandwich. You're going to include the same stuff. You want to include your joint information. You want to include some kind of pricing information. I love these pricings at a glance. I can't say that enough. So you're going to put them in again, and then you're going to make a sample sandwich. This kind of helps provide a little bit of padding when they run your stuff through the machine. So this is just me, and maybe I'm a little crazy or type A personality. I don't really know what it is, but I always put this on the back, and then when I put it into the envelope, this is the open side of your envelope, I always stick it to where when they open the sample pack, this envelope from the back, the very first thing they're going to see is my face, because people buy from people. In direct sales, people buy from people. They want to see you. They want to see your personality. I have them on my card, so I have my face on my card, so it's always the first thing that I send. So again, this guy is super thin. We are not exceeding our 1/4 inch guidelines from the U.S. Postal Service, so I think that's it. I think we've covered everything. Again, you can stick this straight in your mailbox, stick the flag up, send it out the door for a standard postage stamp. and one of these extra ounce stamps, or you can buy the butterfly non-machinable stamp. Whichever you want to do, it's totally up to you. I'm a little obsessed with stamps, so I always go with this route so I can keep a variety. If you have any questions after you have watched the video, please stick them in the comments and I will be glad to help. Go out there, get some samples made, get posh on the people, and don't forget to write it down in your notebook so that you know what you sent and who you sent it to. You all have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.